Hello, Oracles. Woo, how's everybody's week been? What is going on? Lang jumping on. Howdy, howdy, my friend. Yes, it's very hot here. We are finishing up a man. This summer has been hot here. I don't know what it's like everywhere else in the world, but like it seems like it's hot everywhere. It's just hot and humid. We had some gnarly storms come through yesterday. Tomorrow, some more, but tomorrow's storms are supposed to break this. So we shall see. So yes, very hot and sweaty here. Another thing that's hot is Tesla stock finishing up this week. So of course we saw a bit of a dip midweek, but ended up finishing up. So we're going to take a look at the charts in a few minutes once everybody hops on here. But yeah, looking at what we're going through, I don't know what to expect. I mean, the whole market had a strong push today. Yesterday was like after we had the FOMC meeting on Wednesday, seemed like the market was cheering this because we've got you know the whole entire FOMC committee feels like we're not going to get into a recession, so they feel like a soft landing is going to happen. But it's like looking at how high we're pushing interest rates. How can we not push us into deflationary territory and cause bigger problems? As the Fed says, it's better to err on that side because they can reverse things and change that course. But I truly don't know. But the market is currently cheering it. We had that bit of a sell off yesterday, and then today rebounded strong, very strong in the entire market today. What's going on, Sith Lord? Chilling like a villain. Oh, yeah. Hey, Dad, how's it going? Struggling through the upper 70s and no humidity. Must be rough out there in San Diego. I know, though, for San Diego, that's actually not warm at all. We've almost like flip-flop temperatures between Connecticut and San Diego. Although normally here it would still be warm and humid, but what's going on, buddy? How's it over there in Germany? Yes, I figured that much, Lang. I figured you just changed your name on here. What's going on, Kevin? How's it going there, buddy? Man, yeah. So I'll pop up the charts here. Let me jump it up on here for you. Take a quick look. Again, finished on a high note, so that's good. Up, ironically, perfectly 4.20%. I mean, does it get any better than that for Tesla? Seriously? Oh man. Whoa, what did I just do? Whoops. No, that's not what I want. Oh, that's what I want. There we go. Hitting the right buttons. Much better. So yeah, finishing up 400, 420%, 4.20. Seriously, that's awesome. Finishing at 266.44. So I was starting to learn some of these charts here in the indicators. So just looking at these red dots, a lot of these are on the bearish side. So obviously this was earnings, so a lot of bearish things that dropped us the day after earnings. We do have this gap up. So this is a bullish thing because again, gaps fill 9 out of 10 times above and below. So this is a gap that, again, I have a feeling it's going to fill regardless, even if it doesn't fill it right away, it's going to fill. So wherever we're going from here, if we pull down, be mindful of this gap. Previously, we had a gap at 262. We hit 100 and then we came back up and filled it. Now we have this gap up here at 280 and 280 to 289. That's a decent upside. It's just a matter of when are we going to fill it. So if for some reason we do pull down further before we fill this gap, just leave that as a reminder. So few bearish things. RSI is right in the middle. Volume today, not great. 111 million shares trading hands, about average, but overall, it's fine. We did hear about Tesla expediting their plans to get India's factory up and running, which, again, crazy to think that was the place I thought they were going to have the next factory over in the Asia Pacific region. And then we had all the words and stuff, and Tesla stopped the talks, and I thought for sure that was it, and they weren't going to do it. And now, as Elon says, it actually never changed, and it's back on with some zest. They're coming at it. Do I know Elanco? That I know I do not know. Dominic A. Tim is warm in the UK today, which is a welcome surprise. Yeah, that's strange. I know the UK over there is sort of like Seattle here. Not always the most warm and pleasant weather, but so it's nice. Glad that it's warm over there. Yeah, I need to know the Cybertruck pricing also. Cannot wait for that. Can Tesla dip to 200 euros this year? This year, I think it's going to. It's just a matter of when. And quite honestly, I don't know when that's going to happen. Again, looking at what, oh, like my employer right now is doing the same thing. They're preparing for what could potentially be bad. Thinking about interest rates being as high as they are, people are starting to hit. They're starting to hit just very high limits with their credit. Interest rates for credit cards are going way up. Interest rates for everything are going up because the Fed is raising interest rates. Now, again, for people going back prior to the housing market crash, these rates aren't unusual. It's just that for the last decade, we've basically had 0% interest rates. People have been functioning on near 0% interest rates for almost a decade. So that's one of the things to really pay attention to is just that. And when you're looking at interest rates coming up to these levels is people aren't used to it. A lot of businesses aren't used to it. They were used to functioning on basically almost free money. So that's one of the things to really hold on to. Give me 1 second. I've got Gort here shooting some info over to me. Yep, and it's actually he's pointing out some of the things. So if you guys don't follow him over on Twitter, follow Gort. I don't know if I'll be able to get this up on the screen for you guys. However, one of the things that he is pointing out is something I wanted to show you guys as well when it comes to the charts here. And so despite the fact that, yes, we finished the week strong, look at this downward trend that we are on. We are breaking the trend. And despite having a nice up day of 4%, we're still on a downward trend. So again, not to be bearish or scare anyone or anything like that, just looking at the charts, looking where we're at, this is a downward trend that we're on. So it's something to be paying attention to. So Gort, if you're watching, thank you for sharing that. So yeah, so going back to the Fed and all of that, there are still so many things that need to happen. And that's what a lot of companies and businesses are preparing for. So even right now, when we see the market fluctuating the way it is and running up, a lot of the reason why we're getting this big push up, you look historically when the Fed pauses rates, they pause rates and the market is anticipating that crash and something that's going to trigger that and being basically an economic situation that need to be prepared for. So they run the market up to be able to take all of these profits to have that cash on the side to be able to weather that storm. So what a lot of businesses are doing in their own way, different ways of doing it. Sometimes they reduce the labor force. We had a couple of positions that were eliminated at my company. So looking at, a lot of different companies out there that are doing layoffs, this is just their preparation for what we could potentially see, coming up. So just watch out for that. Again, this isn't me being bearish. It's just near term, we have some situations we still need to get through, and it could lead to some really great buying opportunities and dipping us under that $200 mark. India might change its rules like changing clothes so far to foreign investment worrisome. I mean, we basically had the same issues with China too. China can do the same thing. That's obviously working out quite well for us. So, and Elon obviously having the conversations that he's had is confident enough in this that he'll be perfectly fine and Tesla will be able to do very well over there. So I have a feeling that despite the fact that these are realities of what India can do, Elon obviously knows a lot more than we do, and he feels comfortable with this. What do I think about Nextera Energy? I don't know about Nextera Energy, but I do know Enphase. Enphase did not have strong guidance for their third quarter earnings, and so the stock tanked. However, I like Enphase, and I was not prepared to buy Enphase. I've been working on all my other ETFs and stuff, especially coming to the end of the month because we've got TSLY, NVDY. Those two have theirs coming up. Those are my two big ones. Gort and I have been talking about those. Both have the potential of paying out $1 per share each going into next month. So the X date on that is 8/4. So you'd need to buy by 8/2. So by August 2nd, you would need to buy in. Not financial advice, but that's a strong potential. So I added significantly more to those because I think that I'd get a better benefit and a better bang for my buck out of those than I would from Enphase right now. What do you think about Gary Black prediction on the Cybertruck moving the stock price? I didn't fully see what he had said, but I do believe it's gonna surprise a lot of people, and that's the thing, is it's gonna come out and having pricing be comparable to the Ford F-150 Lightning, I think is gonna be massive because the Cybertruck is going to be, as far as I'm concerned, from what we know, significantly better vehicle for the same price. And for them to be able to come out with that with a better price than the Ford, I think is going to be shocking to a lot of people. And my personal feeling on it is we will initially see it move the market. We'll get a nice little pop from it. However, once we get to the point where we actually see what's going on with the ramp, it might be a little disappointing to some people on Wall Street. Elon already said it's going to be a slow ramp. He's told us this. It's going to happen. But it could be one of those things where it may take 3 months to really kind of get that ball rolling. But then once it's rolling, it's great. But for those 3 months, we could get a lot of FUD pieces that come out about it just because, oh, what's going on with the ramp? Why is it so slow? Da, 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 and all this and that. And that could actually end up leading to a better buying opportunity. What target do I have for Tesla? End of this year currently is 275. So my current target right this year of 275, I think we may do some sideways trading. Maybe we dip down, then come back up. For me, it's a lot of the timing of what's going on with the macro environment. So that's kind of where I'm at with my target of 275. And the closer we get to the end of the year, the harder it is to really predict that. So I've got mine out through 2033. And the most important thing is again, it's trends. We're trending up in a very strong way. So regardless of whether or not we hit my specific dollar amount, I think the trend is going to actually happen. And here's my dad's take on Nextera. I had Nextera last year, and it is trading about the same price as it is now. So a bit sideways from last year. I don't know what it did. I know that obviously the market had a rough year last year. Actually, what's let me see. I'll bring it up here. Nextera. Oops. Nextera Energy. Yeah, I mean, looks basically sideways for. I'll pop it up on the. Oops, sorry. Pop it up on the screen for you guys here. So yeah, here's Nextera Energy. So looking at the day, looking at the week, yeah, I mean, basically since October of last year, it's really been sideways. Hasn't done a lot. Ups and downs. This is like an options trader's dream right here, having the ups and downs like this and basically trading sideways. So again, when you're looking at something like the TSLY or NVDY, when you're looking at those trading sideways, that is the prime place to be in the options area, which is why they're able to pay out so much when it comes to their dividends, is because it's trading sideways. They're making money on both ends. They're not being forced to purchase or sell the stock at all. They don't actually even own the stock. They're just making a ton of money on all of the premiums they get from their options. So that type of trading is just prime for options. I thought I did a lot of work before I buy any stock. My dad does research his stocks before he buys them a lot. I know how much work you put into what you do to provide all this info to your followers. I could never do it. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Dad. And quite honestly, I mean, a lot of what I do is learning the charts. So again, I don't know much about Nextera, but I can certainly look at the charts and diagnose some patterns off of charts. So I've learned that makes it easy. And then Tesla, obviously following heavily, helps me learn a lot about that. And then you have to learn about the macro environment. If you're going to be an investor and understand how it goes, you just got to pay attention. And quite honestly, Twitter has given me, now called X, X has given me a lot of that information. Very good info over there. India killed BYD 1 billion proposal. May not look good for Tesla possible, but no. It's fine, Raymond. So the thing with the BYD one is they were going to be putting up a factory that was going to be producing like 15,000 vehicles versus Tesla, which wants to pump out 500,000, which we know is going to at least be 1 million vehicles. And BYD won't be allowed in there because India doesn't want to compete with China or have China in their country competing against what they want to do internally. So lots of turmoil between India and China on that level. So that is why that was shot down immediately. Tesla's not going to have any issues whatsoever there. Market sentiment in the US right now is actually really good. That has been climbing. Market sentiment has been better. We're still technically in extreme greed. Actually, let me just double check, but I believe we are still in extreme greed. Greed fear index. We are at bum, bum, bum. Yeah, we're still in extreme greed at 78. So um, I'll show you guys. So this is one of the things I look at. And again, when you're looking at Warren Buffett saying, be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful, we've been in extreme greed for a while. So again, not to say that this is the be all end all indicator as to where the market's going to go in the future, but we swing back and forth. And if we're in extreme greed right now, that means that people are buying, trying to push the stock market even higher just so that they can make even more money on this. And this is what happens when hedge funds come in, they're driving it up, and then causes retail to get FOMO, because how hedge funds get their money is by causing retail to dump their money in and then drop the bottom out and take retail investors' money. That's how that works. And so them driving this into, extreme fear or extreme greed as far as we are, keep pushing it up and up and up. And people are like, oh my God, I got to buy it now because we're never going to see the bottom drop out again. We heard the exact same sentiment at the end of 2021. Well, actually, right before Elon started selling, which was everybody's like, oh my God, we're never coming under $1,000 again. That's impossible. Now we're hearing people say, we're never coming under 250. We're never going under 200. I've heard this all before. We've said it before. And guess what? It all came true. We fell down below 1,000, fell down below 200, we fell down to 100. It happened before, it can happen again. So the sentiment right now is awesome. Consumer sentiment is also very strong. We've actually seen spending going up, but the problem with the spending going up is wages have been climbing, but they're kind of leveling off now. So with wages not going up as high, what's going to end up happening is more and more people have been spending on their credit cards. So credit card debt has been climbing up significantly. It's getting to kind of scary levels right now. Eventually, people run out of credit to be able to spend money. Then they're going to have to stop spending money on whatever they want to buy for frivolous stuff. Then all of a sudden we see what they need. They've got to pay off their credit card debt. Credit card debt right now on average is 20.5%. That's stupid high. So if you've got a credit card debt, get the heck out of it. It is a dangerous place to be right now. Do not be in there. I've been kind of carrying over and paying mine off for the last month and a half. But today, with my bonus that came through, wiped it out entirely. I now have zero credit card debt again, and I'm not rolling any more over. And I'm going to be able to be back at the point where I literally pay for everything the moment I spend it. So that is a place you want to be, is right there, because you don't want to have to pay interest on anything. Any interest you have to pay on credit card debt completely negates any investing that you're doing, because you're paying someone else interest versus you gaining interest by investing that money. So consumer sentiment is good, but that can change very quickly if all of these people start hitting credit limits and they can't do that anymore. Then don't forget, here in the US also, September, we start seeing interest rates start getting piled back onto student loans again. And as of October, student loans have to start getting repaid. So anybody who has not been paying off their student loan, who decided to not pay it due to the pandemic, is going to have to start paying again in October. Some people have massive credit card bills or massive student loan bills that they have to pay. That could be a lot of money that's not going into other things and having to go back to banks. So a lot of little things to pay attention to. What's the price for Cybertruck approximately? Lang, I can't even say that. I can say guesses because nobody knows for sure. My guess is, and Gary Black was pretty close to mine, which was, I think the dual motor might be 59,000, which he said could be 49,000. Totally possible. The tri motor, which I don't know if they're even doing, the tri motor at 69 and then the quad motor at 79, keeping all three of them under the EV tax credit allotment. So that's totally possible. I never noticed Tesla vehicles before I started investing in Tesla earlier this year, but all motorists will notice the Cybertruck. You're absolutely right. And it's one of those mental things when you're starting to look for something. They say it all the time, when you're looking for to buy a vehicle, or if you buy a vehicle, or you buy a house, or you want to go on vacation, you're thinking about whatever it is. All of a sudden, you see it a lot more. It's a psychological thing. It's reality of what's going on. I cannot remember the term for it right now, but that's reality. And so you're investing in Tesla, you see them a lot more often. But you're absolutely right. So people may not be seeing Teslas as much as we do because we're invested in it, but that Cybertruck is certainly going to turn heads for sure. And people are going to ask, what the heck is that? NVDA, Palantir, Microsoft, Google, and are in the AI space. What others are in that space? Meta is technically in the AI space. Meta is doing extremely well. Again, not the biggest fan of Zuckerberg. However, because of what I'm doing for social media, I'm over on Facebook. I've been there for, friggin' 15 years now. And now because I've been building it for content creation, I'm actually monetized over there. I just got it today. So I'm pretty excited about that. Those of you guys who are members and patrons, or if you watch my videos at the end of the month for my income, investments, and expenses, that line is one of the lines on there. So I now have an opportunity to actually make money with Facebook. So pretty excited about that. If you guys are over there, feel free to friend request me. I'm Tim Werner over there. There's a lot of Tim Werners over there. But I've got the link actually in my description here for this channel if you guys want to check it out. But very pleased about that. That's one of the goals I was shooting for, and actually wasn't even really paying attention to that when I was kind of focusing more on X and Instagram, and I got it from Facebook. So it was pretty awesome. So I'm going to be putting some more content over there as well. So Meta is one for the AI space. And I mean, I'm trying to think about who the C3 AI is out there. Palantir, Microsoft, Google. There's a bunch more. I'd have to run through the whole list, but those two I know are for sure in the AI space. AMD is most likely going to be in it. I think Tesla might be in it. Maybe could be in the AI space. Short-term call options premium has dropped sharply since Q2 results. Yeah, indicating less volatility on Tesla stock in the next little while. Yeah, that's true. And so when you're looking at like a TSLY, and let me see, hold on. Yeah, here we go. So TSLY X date is 8/2 and paying $1 per share. Showed up late and only caught a part of it. Alex, it's so the X date is actually 8/4. You want to buy it so T+2, so you want to buy it 2 days beforehand. X date's 8/4. You want to buy it by 8/2. I'm guessing last month we saw $1.06 per share when it came to their dividends. I don't know what it's going to be this month. Nvidia has been pushing to $1 also, or NVDY. So I'm just guessing. I could be entirely wrong here. It fluctuates significantly. So we've seen it down as low as 44 cents per share, and we've seen it as high as $1.06 per share. So what happens with TSLY is they do 3 to 6 month option calls. And when they do that, this is why I look back. I was like, all right, well, where was Tesla trading 3 to 6 months ago? Because if theirs are expiring now, they could obviously call them and expire them early. They can call them off, whatever they want to do. I don't know how they've played it this past month, but they've done a very good job with it. So yes, the volatility is down, but we may be getting paid dividends based upon the volatility from like June versus from July. In Germany, people are bullish. That's good. That's good to hear that. It sounds like globally, sentiment seems to be going up and is in a much better place. And that's good. But we also have to remember that while that's good, we have a lot of other signals that point to things that could be questionable down the road. So enjoy the ride. I say take advantage of it. We don't know if or when it's going to pull down. But if you start to see signals that we really are starting to pull down, don't be afraid to take some money off the table and just kind of protect yourself with some cash. We saw it happen last year. This is kind of like hey, this is the second time around. You fooled me once, not going to fool me again. So I'm keeping money in the market, but I'm also keeping money on the side. Hey, if we don't pull down, I'm invested. I'm in. I'll enjoy the ride. I'll just have extra cash that I have to buy at higher levels. It happens. I'd rather be on that side than miss that turnaround, have everything tank with all of my money in the market, and have no way of taking advantage of that opportunity of it falling. Lang, I paid off all my debt ASAP, same as the mortgage or loans. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm actually going to be doing a video for my members and patrons. Sorry to members, anybody who's a member out there, my apologies. YouTube doesn't yet allow me to do videos strictly for you guys. Like for Patreon, I can do it right to them. But even on YouTube, like I want to make a video just for you guys, and it's very difficult. So I apologize, but I'm going to try to get it out to you guys in whatever manner I can, even if I have to do it as an unlisted one and give you guys the link to watch it, I'll do that. But Dave Ramsey has the 7 baby steps, and to me, that's huge. That's basically I took that and modified it for my own personal use to get myself out of debt, and I want to share it with you guys what I did and how I modified it for myself. To show you how I went from where I was $75,000 in debt to now I have, and I'll be updating it tomorrow, near $150,000 net worth. So that's like theoretically a 3x on my 4x on my money. It's crazy just by following those steps and being consistent. Raymond Elon said he already has FSD version 12 alpha. How would it work? And it's rolling out without calling it beta. So as Elon said, version 12 will no longer be called beta. So they can call it alpha. Doesn't mean that it has to be level 4. Doesn't mean that it has to be regulated. But if they can call it alpha at version 12, that could just be the very beginning iteration of where they're going to be taking it to level 4 autonomy. And he said, it's just absolutely incredible. So obviously, he's testing it himself to see how it's going. I have a feeling maybe we see it by the end of the year. But I have a more realistic feeling that we're going to see it sometime in 2024. But if Elon is testing that now, I think 2024 for sure we see it. I missed the run up from 255. Do you think we'll come back down to 255 soon? So hard to predict the near term. But I do think it will come down. And, soon is also relative. When do you see soon? I think within the next 6 to 12 months, and I've been saying that for a few months now, so maybe it's like 6 to 8 months. I think within the next 6 to 8 months, I do think we end up pulling down well under $200. That's my take. I could be entirely wrong, but that's my feeling on it. Hi, Tim. Please put this streaming video in your channel. It will. It will go in my channel. So when I'm done, it goes in there as a recording. So you can definitely go and rewatch it later if that's what you're asking. So yeah, you can certainly do that. And this actually streams. This also streams on X and it streams on Facebook also. TM sold most of my shares, made good returns, and did exactly what you've done. Pay off credit card debts. It's the best thing to do, honestly. Awesome, great job. And that's exactly it. And I was investing while I was paying off my debt, but when I was doing that, I was putting in like $20 a month. That was it. That's all I could afford because to me, paying off my debt was significantly more important than paying off than investing. So I did all that, and now because I did all that, now I can invest significant amounts of money into the market. I mean, I'm putting in $125 a week into my IRA, $150 a week into the stock market between Tesla stock, TSLY, and just cash. So I do that on a weekly basis, and then monitor other things to add to with NVDY and other things. So I do all of that, and then I've got my CDs. My CDs are now bringing in interest. So I take that money from the interest and I reinvest that into other things as well. So it really, you turn yourself into a very nice place where you're having your money make you money versus having your money cost you money. Yes, the Ford F-150 dropped to 59K. Yeah. So it was 69K, dropped to 59K. They were citing that they did it because the costs have come down. They're getting to economies of scale. And that's awesome. That's great for Ford. I think that's a good thing. They're also losing $32,000 per vehicle that they're selling. However, they're at the very beginnings. They're coming around. When you're looking at GM and Ford coming out with their earnings, Tesla makes more profit on a quarterly basis, and now they've done this several quarters in a row than GM or Ford. And they're selling a third of the vehicles that GM is selling. So basically, GM has to sell three and a half times as many vehicles as Tesla to make the same profits. So and I think Ford is like 2 and change. So the amount of extra effort they have to put in just to bring in the same profits, it's because Tesla's vertically integrated and very, very efficient. So what's going to happen when Tesla now triples the amount of vehicles that they're selling, and they're selling, 1.5 million per quarter. Their profits, they brought in $2.7 billion. They're going to be bringing in, what is it, $7-8 billion in profits per quarter when they get to those levels. And those levels could easily be happening by 2026, 2027. Do you know when the YieldMax ETF will announce the TSLY dividend? Do we wait until the 4th then, or announce before? It announces afterwards. It's like, I think it's 2 days afterwards, so I believe it's on the 6th. Let me see if they actually say it on the chart here. Hold on 1 second. Where did it go? I thought I had it on here. There it is. Not there. I'm going to look it up for you because I know it's in the calendar here. TSLY calendar. I know Gort has sent it to me. Nope, that's not it there. I'll find it for you guys. But it's usually like 2 days afterwards. So that's the thing about it, is you don't find out about what they're going to pay out for dividends until you've passed the X date. So you've got to make that commitment before you do it, because otherwise people can manipulate that like crazy. Like if, you had to buy the 2nd, and all of a sudden on the 2nd, they're like, oh, by the way, we're going to pay out $1 dividend. Oh, everybody's going to buy the crap out of it at that point. As soon as you hit the X date, everybody's going to sell, and a lot of people do that anyway. You can do like dividend flips, sell out right after the X date, roll it into another one, and do that several times over the course of the month. Then the only thing you have to worry about is, what are we going to be seeing for the fluctuation of the ETF price and the value? Am I going to lose that money? Lots of things can happen. But yeah, they don't tell you the payout until after the X date. What would happen if Elon died one day? Well, Elon is going to die one day. We all will. It just happens. It's one of the facts of life, is we're all going to die. I think right now, if you asked 2 years ago, it would have been a significantly larger impact to Tesla for Elon to die, or something bad to happen to Elon. However, what I think is happening is Elon has put together such a good team in place for Tesla that if something happens to him, the stock would still take a major hit, because he still plays obviously a vital role in the company. But because of the team that they have set in place, it will still move forward. I don't think they're at the place right now where Apple was at when Steve Jobs passed away, but I think they're getting close. I think for Tesla, thinking about the fact that Apple was doing great when Steve Jobs passed away, but what really turned the corner for Apple was the App Store, which came out a few years later. So for Tesla, I think it's going to be FSD, I think, is the major thing. If Tesla gets past that FSD hurdle, then we're really in a perfectly fine place. And even with that, I don't think they need Elon for it, but I think that's going to be the next huge hurdle. If we get past that, I think, not to say it'll be a good thing if he goes, but they'll be in a safer place at that point. Yeah, and Elon is going to upload his consciousness into Optimus and Neuralink. So he will never go for total, for good. He will be with us somehow. If Elon fights Zuck, it might happen sooner than you think, and that's a big pullback. It's possible, but the thing I thought about was, they talk about the cage match with Elon switching Twitter over to X, talking about how it's going to be the everything app. They're going to be able to do investing and everything through there, and financial things. Facebook is talking about doing the exact same thing. So perhaps that is kind of their cage matches. They're battling with the social media stuff. And the crazy thing is, Elon's only been basically doing it for 9 months now, whereas Zuck has been doing it for a longer time. Although Elon was in this space long time ago. Yes, Lang. Healthy price competition is always good. I'll reach out to him. I messaged him months and months ago. Probably this time last year I messaged him. And I know he probably gets slammed with millions and millions of messages. I know Brian from My Tesla Weekend has reached out to him several times. When it comes to Rob, it may end up being one of those things where I'll have to go to an event, meet up with him at an event, and actually talk to him in person to see if I can get him to do something on the channel. I'm absolutely going to try. I would love to have Rob on here. Night, buddy. So that, yeah. So Lang, he's talking about Rob Maurer from Tesla Daily. So I would love to have him on. That's one of the things that I'm going to be focusing on as well. And my schedule has just been super crazy busy, and trying to have guests on here isn't the easiest because I can't do my due diligence and background and look into their background and learn about them to have them on here. So people that I've had on before, I can't. I'm friends enough with them that I could bring them on. Peggy, Brian, Alexandra, people like that. I got to have Alexandra back on again soon too. But having newer people come on, I want to be able to take some time. You know, we've all seen when oh man, I totally lost his name. Uh, but you've seen some people doing great interviews. Herbert does great ones as well. They take their time and learn the person that they're trying to interview and ask questions to. I don't have the time to do all of that. So I want to make sure I do that because I want to do it right. I don't want to go out there and just have somebody on here just to have a name on here. I want to make sure I do it right. Rob, obviously, I know well enough about his channel and what he knows where I can have him on and not have to worry about it. But uh, KLIP dividend dropped slightly again. Do you think it will ever go up, or is it a catching a knife trap? So I just started to add to KLIP. They're still paying relatively well, so I'll pay attention to it. I didn't add heavily to it. I'm more into TSLY and NVDY, but I'm still also monitoring those also because if they stop paying bigger dividends, maybe I want to put my money into other places. And as Gort and I have done the math on it, when you're looking at these TSLY and NVDY, if the stock itself is going up, like Tesla stock, if it's going up, you're going to get a better return from the stock itself or TSLL than you're going to get from TSLY and the dividends. That's what happens when it's going up. If it's trading sideways, TSLY is the place to be. That is just money right there. So I'll pay attention to KLIP because I've got that one and I haven't actually. Did they announce that one? Let me bring that one up here. Let me see. X date 7/27. Yeah, so their X date was yesterday. Okay. Did they announce what their dividends are? I don't see it on here. Um, yeah, if you know the dividend payout, please share because I don't see it on here readily available. Alan, they're playing up that auto cargo ship on fire as another reason to not go electric, even though there's no evidence it was caused by an EV. I know all the FUD that's out there, and that's the thing to pay attention to. Also, when you start seeing more and more FUD stories coming out, just kind of brace yourself because that's a lot of times hedge funds and shorts trying to pull the market down or pull the stock price down. So just be careful. Sith Lord, why is market ripping after Jay Powell's statements? Are they calling us bluff on the possibility of raising interest rates? More and more people on TV were saying we're done. Well, I mean, based upon what Powell said on Wednesday, it was just, hey, we're not sure. We're going to go meeting to meeting. Where the last one, he said they're going to go up on rates twice because of what we saw for inflation data in June and July. He's like, you know what? We are not going to say we're going to go up. Maybe we do, but we're going to start paying attention. They've got 8 weeks now before the next FOMC meeting in September. So there's going to have 2 sets of data points from every one that they've been looking at. Maybe they don't go up anymore. And I think that's what the market is looking at. Is it seems like the sentiment in the FOMC committee is a very positive, bullish sentiment. So despite the fact that, he says we're not out of the woods yet, they might still have to raise rates. They're also indicating that they're going to be dropping rates several times next year. So that means that the pivot is coming next year, and who knows how much they're going to drop the rates. But, he thinks that by 2025 or 2026, we'll be back down to 2% inflation. And that's where they want us to be. So next year could be the pivot and we could start moving in the other direction. That's possible. So that could be why the market is ripping right now. Gene, price prediction for Tesla at the end of 2023 is 275 at the moment. Thanks for the info, man. Much appreciated. No problem, Alex. Anytime. Alexandra's a classy lady. She's awesome. I love Alexandra. Her husband, Tesla Boomer Papa, is awesome too. They're both phenomenal people. Love them both. Oh man, it's so hot here. It's so hot, like everything is just seizing up. My knee is hurting me. I don't like it. So actually, you know what I do want to look up though? Oops. Payout. I'm going to look up that KLIP dividend payout right now because I wonder if they're showing it at the moment. Annual dividend 10. So, okay, so they're paying out 83 cents. So KLIP, that's about the same as last month, 83 cents. So, I mean, it has been trickling down. Let me pop this on the screen for you guys. So KLIP is one of the ones that that I just got into. So Darth Dividend, he's a guy I started watching over on YouTube as well. So if you guys don't follow him, give him a subscribe if you're interested in dividend stuff. He does a lot of information on that. Talks about both kinds of dividends, like these ones here that are paying out high yield, but may not be long-term dividends, and taking that money and putting it into longer things like Bank of America, other stocks like that are going to be, growth, but also paying out nice dividends for the long term. So this here is one of those ones that he's looking at. And so yes, it's dropped down, $1.16, $1.09, still paying pretty darn high considering, KLIP is trading at 18.78 per share. You're getting paid 83 cents per share on that, which is a lot. It's 53%. So this here is, and actually, going back to your question, Alex, their X date was yesterday and they announced today. So it's probably the day after. So declaration date was actually the 26th. Interesting, because usually the declaration date comes after. Interesting. We'll have to pay attention. Maybe we do find out the dividends before the X date. But either way, so if the X date was 27th, you would have had to buy it by the 25th. So coming out with the declaration on this 26th makes sense then. So you wouldn't be able to benefit on it too much. But still, like I said, 83 cents, basically the same as last month. Not bad. I've got, I think, 30 shares of it, so I'll get myself like 25 bucks on it. So I'll take that for sure. Just the way I'm going to play it. But these are all things that I'm just kind of paying attention to. Spritz yourself with water and aim a fan at yourself in the heat. Yeah, I do have a box fan in my bedroom, but no spritzes or anything. Usually what I do is I just take a cold shower before bed and then just kind of let the cool air come in. Well, cooler air at night just kind of hit me and it keeps it good. Using electric fans or not here. Here 2 more per room. I just have 1 box fan. That's it. Again, I'm pretty darn frugal, trying to invest everything I can. So like I didn't even want to spend a few $100 on an AC because I'll just deal with the heat for a few months, whatever it happens. Oh yeah, if Tesla started paying dividends, I'd be on easy street. A lot of us would be. That's kind of what I'm doing, is I'm trying to get as much cash flow generation coming in as possible to accumulate as many shares as I possibly can for Tesla, so that when they do get to that point to pay dividends out, I'll have it made. That's my plan at the moment. Most of the rates we are experiencing now were the normal rates when I was growing up, from the 70s to at least 2000. Yeah, and that's my dad. And I do remember when I was a kid, and it's like I go back to it and kind of kick myself because I'm like, dang, I knew when I was young that these things were the potential, and I never even took advantage of it. But just thinking about the interest rates I was getting at my normal bank, just having my money in a savings account, I'm like, wow, if I had like $1 million in there, I could be pulling in, thousands of dollars a year, tens of thousands of dollars a year based on the interest rates I had back then. Clearly, those are all gone, but like we see those now with high yield savings. You go to Robinhood, SoFi, many banks have the high yield savings right now, pushing almost 5% in many cases, where you can get that. It's a little bit less than what I'm getting on my CDs. People get that just from having their money in savings. That's stuff that, again, we saw back when I was younger. So having those opportunities now, again, maybe it's worth putting it into high yield savings and having your money there, because inflation is now coming down. It's now below it. So whereas before, 4 to 5% interest wasn't even making up for inflation, you were still losing money. We're now at a point where you could be making money on it. So maybe it's worth it to do that. And again, that's where we were for the longest time. I remember when I bought my house, it was back in 2004 or 5. And when I got the house, our interest rate was just over 6%, a little bit lower than it is now. So we're really not that far off from there. Do you think Tesla can drop to 230? I do. I think it's going to drop to 130. Hate me now. I think it's going to drop to 130. I think we're going to fill that 114 gap. People get mad at me when I say that, but it's what I think. Do you think Cybertruck reservation holder will wait a possibility of waiting 6 hypothetical years to get their truck? I am. So my thought on that is yes, because they're still in line. They're still in line to get it, and they want to get it. So what else are they going to do? It was only $100, so it's not like we had to drop thousands of dollars on it. It's $100. So I put $100 in, and I'm waiting. And it's not like I need that vehicle. Knowing I just put it over on X yesterday, uh, right next to me. So Connecticut, because of the dealership laws, despite how despite how liberal they are and how they're on the side that's trying to push for renewable energy and everything, they're also still tied to the UAW and dealership laws, very much like our national government is. So, because of that, Connecticut won't allow a Tesla delivery center in the state. However, we do have reservations. That's where we have the casinos. We have Foxwoods and we have Mohegan Sun. So guess what Tesla did? Circumvented the whole thing. They have a delivery center coming up at Mohegan Sun. It's 5 minutes down the road from me. Super excited about that. That's coming in the fall. So I will be down there taking videos and showing you guys all the videos I can of the place right near me. Tesla finally found a way to get themselves into Connecticut, so I can get my vehicle right there. So I'll go down there and talk to him, and I'm sure talking to him, I'm going to get excited. I still think it's going to end up being next year. I might end up getting a Model 3 versus a Model Y. Maybe it ends up being the Highland with hardware 4 in it. Lots of things changing. So still signs pointing to me getting it next year. But now with that coming, that delivery center coming right down the road from me, oh yeah. I think that's one of those signs where the universe is telling me, Tim, it is now time. You have waited. It is time. You can go ahead and get your vehicle now. So I'm looking forward to it. But going back to your question, Seth Lord, yes, I'm getting that. Other people who want Teslas have plenty of other options to get their Teslas, and they'll most likely hold and wait to get the Cybertruck, because what are they going to do? Dump it and then go back to the end of the line? The way I look at it is I'm probably slated to get mine in 2026, maybe, if I'm lucky. And I'm like 1.4 million in line. But by then, they'll work out whatever kinks they've got, any other upgrades that come out. Maybe by then it'll be hardware 5 that's going to be in it. Lots of other things could be into the vehicle, because same as everything else, they come out and they're like, oh, you know what? We can do these things better. This is how Tesla operates. They're on their manufacturing line. They figure out all the feedback that they get from their people. So they're going to have all the Cybertrucks on the road, getting all the feedback. And they're like, oh man, we can do these things so much better. So by the time I get mine, they will have worked out a lot of the kinks from it, and they'll have a lot of improved upgrades. So I think the people who are reservation holders will have no problems waiting, because they're going to be able to take advantage of that. Some may drop. Maybe somebody who got a Cybertruck early on, hey, the fun for them wore off or whatever it is, and they sell a used one. And maybe some reservation holders are like, you know what? I'll take the used one because I want mine sooner than waiting. That may end up happening. But otherwise, I think people will have no problems waiting. I mean, think about it. They've waited this long as it is. And, if somebody who is a reservation holder doesn't know where they are in line and hasn't listened to Elon as far as what the ramp is going to be looking like, then are they really a Tesla fan? I mean, pretty much everybody who's put money on a Cybertruck knows what to expect. They know that they're looking to ramp 250,000 per year. They know that they're looking to have a very slow beginning to this ramp. They know it's been delayed. It's all out there. The writing is on the wall. So let's see what else we got. I may make this a shorter live stream just so I can get out of this heat and get my shower. But I love spending time with you guys. So I'll hang out for a few more minutes and see what else. Let's actually check Twitter. And timing wise, there was a big X Spaces that was going on with Elon and some other guys, and it ended right before this live stream. So I didn't have a chance to listen to it. I was trying to get dinner done and everything. So let me see what else we have going on in the X sphere. Nothing big. Don't see anything major. It was, like I said, India is a big one that we're hearing about. So we know that's coming. Obviously, Cybertruck coming very soon. I have a feeling we're going to end up hearing about the Cybertruck probably in August. I think we're going to end up hearing about the delivery event. Let me see. Just going through. It doesn't look there's anything else major going on in the Tesla universe. So, what's going on, Hanif? How's it going there? I heard the Tesla store in Connecticut is an old Indian graveyard. So it's an Indian reservation. So that's Mohegan Sun is the Indian reservation. So it's on that, and that's all it is. So I wouldn't say it's an Indian graveyard. I'm sure there's graves there, but it's the Indian reservation. Yeah, there's Foxwoods, there's Mohegan. A short seller told me this. Of course, a short seller told you that. Yes, every vehicle that gets delivered there is going to be haunted and cursed. Can people transfer and sell Cybertruck reservations? I honestly don't know. I don't think so. Because I believe it's all attached to your name. Because when I put mine in, I had to attach it to my name. So I don't think you can, but I could be wrong. I haven't even looked into it or tried. I don't know. I guess, if somebody who had a ton of money really wanted to get in, if somebody wanted to say, hey, I want to move up the chain and get my 1.4 million. Hey, it's $100 reservation. If you want to pay me $500, I'll give you my spot. Sure. Like, I guess theoretically, if that was allowed, people could make some money on selling their Cybertruck reservations. Why not? Oh gosh. Let's see. That's good. That's done. All right, folks. I'm gonna hop off of here. Got to get myself some rest. I haven't had a good night's sleep either because of this heat. But one last question here. Let me see. Lang, can Australians reserve Cyberpunk now? Cyberpunk or Cybertruck? Cyberpunk plays in the vehicles. But Cybertruck, I don't know. I don't know what areas can reserve them. As far as I know, mine still shows you'll be able to get more information when we get closer to production. That's all I got. I've heard some rumors that other people are seeing more, but I think those are all just made up stuff. I don't think people are actually getting that. Some early reservation holders were supposedly saying that they were getting information that they could make the changes, but I didn't see anything past that because if they were able to actually build it, they would have showed us. But there's nothing that we can see on that. So as of right now, I think it's kind of like stuck. So like, I mean, you could try if you go to tesla.com/Cybertruck, that would be it. That would give you, actually, I'll bring it up here and then I'll get off, but I'll just show you guys here. If you go to, let's see, tesla.com/Cybertruck. So this is it. You go here, order now. And you can do it here. So if you can do it over there, Lang, try it. That would be how you'd be able to do it. So try that. If it pops up and you can, then let us know, because I don't know. I can't see from an Australian place whether you can or not. But again, Australians can if you want to reserve it here in the US for sure. I just don't know if you can actually do it in Australia or how soon you would actually get it over there. But I know that they've been testing it all around the world. So obviously it's going to make it there at some point. No problem, Lang. All right, folks, I'm heading on off of here. Time to go cool my body heat down and try to cool off for the weekend. We got some nasty storms, potential tornadoes coming through tomorrow. So that's supposed to break this heat for next week, which will be very nice. Otherwise, you guys have yourselves a great weekend. Love chatting with you all as usual, and we will